and we will be working with the UN Security Council, with our colleagues here at the UN, to make sure that that technical assistance is provided and everybody is brought up to a standard and a level of confidence that will get people feeling that they can travel and use airports around the world with the freedom and the confidence that they need for the success of the global economy. The terrorists are constantly thinking of ways in which they can beat our preventative measures. We've got to be ahead of them, and I think that this resolution today is an important step forward in achieving that. I think, as I said in the Security Council, air travel is one of the greatest liberators, is one of the greatest equalizers that the human race has ever found. And this resolution, I think, will help us to continue to enjoy that freedom in safety. So thanks very much, everybody, for coming along. I think we're going to take, Murray and I will take a couple of questions, if there are any. Yes, please, sir.
English. It's a question about Syria. To
yes,
both
absolutely.
of you with that ISSG meeting just a few hours away. Do you have much hope that you can get the ceasefire deal back on track when the two co-chairs of the process, as we saw in the Security Council in the last 4 hours, disagree on so much?
Well, listen, you've got, you're by your very question, you're radiating what I think is a legitimate pessimism that I think is felt by many people around the world when they look at what is happening, when they look at the bombing that has just been taking place in Aleppo overnight. And all I can say to you, however, that there is no solution to this war unless there is a political solution, and there can be no political solution unless there is a ceasefire. This is just a civil war. It is a proxy war. We know who the puppeteers are, who are helping to run this thing. We know the influences behind the conflict in Syria. I still think that it is up to them to get ceasefire going and get the political process back on track. And obviously the ISSG, the Syria support group, will be meeting later on today. So we got to hope. Murray, do you want to add anything on that? Thank you. Sorry. New Zealand, Murray.
Given the issues with migration, people moving around the world, under you and your administration, is there going to be any change to access for New Zealanders under the working visa, either less or potentially more?
It's a very good question from New Zealand. Everybody in New Zealand may or may not know that it's something that I personally feel would be a fine thing if we could have. I don't know whether Murray agrees on that. He's nodding now, which is good. I personally think it would be a fine thing if we could have greater fairness towards people coming from around the world, talented people coming from New Zealand and other countries in getting into our country. But there is a way to go. We have a negotiation to launch and a process to go through. But let's hope for substantial progress for New Zealanders by the end of it.
Foreign Secretary, President Assad's longevity has actually outlasted President Obama from all likelihood, and also Prime Minister Cameron. What does this say about the state of affairs over in that region?
Well, I think that you can certainly put it like that, but the reality is that President Assad of Syria has no legitimacy anymore. If you look at what he has done to his country, to his people, of the 400,000 people who have lost their lives in the last 5 years in this odious conflict, he is overwhelmingly responsible, and I don't think it is possible to envisage a credible future for Syria with a protraction of the Assad regime. And I think that is the interesting thing about where we are today in the UN, is that is, officially at least, that is common ground amongst the participants around the table in the Security Council. Well, everybody has agreed in theory, under Resolution 2254, that there should be transition away from the Assad government. Well, let's make that happen. And that can only happen with a ceasefire and a resumption of the political process, as I say. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
We will make America great again.